Hey, how's it going? This is me, Matt, the Aborted Soul. This is my second attempt. The first time, I closed it out on accident. I'm here wanting to talk about economics, at the same time talk about the United States drug policy and why it's retarded. I think first and foremost you have to look at what makes a country successful, economically successful. A lot of it, really, I'm not dogmatic about it at all, but freedom, a nation's ability to do what you want with your own things makes people want to get things and do things to get things, become entrepreneurs, stuff like that. Being able to do what you want with your own body encourages free thinkers to live there. Being able to I'm not just being specific though. Freedom, basically the government not fucking with your stuff and not fucking around in your business, but just keeping people safe and making sure that people can't just take things from you. Because why would anyone want to just create something if someone just took it from you? Like the problem with China, for instance, and the reason there could be growing more than just 8 to 12% a year for their GDP. The reason it's doing so poorly with the conditions they have, partly is because they're still partially socialist and they plan still, and partly because they don't allow. God damn it! I forgot what I was saying. God, fuck. I'm not even gonna edit it. Fuck it. I'm just gonna keep going. But one of the reasons America does so well is because you can do with your things what you want. Oh, China, yeah. What I was saying was China's copyright stuff. If you bring something to China, like Coca-Cola, for instance, and they bring Coke to China, they have to be. One of the things they were having problems getting into China. It's such a big market, and it's a lot of Cokes. But if Coke came in, China has a thing about their copyrights where it would be public property, where anyone they want could just clone Coke, and that would be that. And Coca-Cola really didn't like that. So it's just protections, stuff like that too. But freedoms and protections over your personal belongings and personal things that you own, like your copyright, for instance. But one of the major contributing factors is a lack of bureaucracy. It's not just, creative freedom and the freedom of your, political freedoms to elect your own government and stuff like that. But if you look at Hong Kong, Shanghai's economy, pre and actually post-communist, they're not really messed with too much. They're still ran generally the same way they were when they were run by England, pre-1997. One of the big things about England, or about Hong Kong, is that they're not interventionist. Like, flat 15% tax, one fucking form to fill out. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to just start a business, you sign one form and you go and you do it and you pay a 15% tax. That's it. Nothing else. The government isn't trying to make you do anything. And Singapore is really the same way. It's really business friendly, and that's why if you look at places, if you really want to contrast them, and what places are doing really well, what places aren't doing well. India, you have the freedom of religion, you have the freedom to protest, you have freedom of speech, freedom of press. But you have the freedom to go through a lot of bureaucracy. That's not really freedom at all. If you want to build something, like the amount of paperwork, like planning and stuff like that, it's obscene in India. For instance, as an example, just a little example of this sort of economics at work. The guy who owned a semiconductor company. Oh, who was it? Shit. He owned a semiconductor company, and he anyways, it's not important. He's a really rich guy, so rich he could live in a different city every night for an entire year. He could just live in a different city. He could do that as long as he wants, perpetually, basically. The really industrious guy who came to America and started this semiconductor company, but he wanted to start up a plant in Austin, in Texas, and Austin's like really liberal. It's really sort of that new, they don't want any smokestacks. It's really clean if you've been there. And the reason he wanted to be there was partly because of that, partly with other locations and stuff like that. So he went to them and he asked the board, how long would it take for me to get a plant here to make my stuff? And they said, well, the process will take about a year. And he just basically told them to go to hell. Like right up the road from Austin is a place called Round Rock. And Round Rock's philosophy was, like, he went to dinner with him, and the governor, or not the governor, the mayor, when he met with the leader of the Economic Planning Board or whoever it was, the guy handed him the approval in an envelope, like as he walked up, like to meet with him to talk about his plan. He said, oh, by the way, here's the permit. We have it before you even applied for it. Like, here it is. It's so easy. Come here, please. And so he built there. And it's also the Round Rock is also the headquarters of Dell, for pretty much specifically the same reason, because they're really business friendly. Like, the less you fuck around with economy, the better the government's going to do. The only country in the world that has had, they're now part of communist China, but had a surplus of, the government actually had a surplus. They had no deficit. They actually made money. They had a government with a profit at flat 15%. Was Hong Kong, because they don't fuck around with shit. Businesses do great there. If you are an entrepreneur, go to fucking Hong Kong. It is so easy. It's so easy to get a business there. Okay, but let's transition to the sort of dual subjects as economy. But what I really want to talk about is drugs. And personally, I like, besides eventually in my life maybe wanting to go to different countries and try like peyote, like a mind-expanding drug in a safe environment, legally, without like risk. I mean, there's minor health risks, but there's minor health risks for walking around or drinking the water. This is something like that, mind expanding, not anything like LSD or anything like that. Definitely not coke or heroin or those. I consider those really wasteful and kind of stupid. I haven't had personal experience with them, so you're gonna have to excuse me if I'm wrong, but I have no desire to do it either. It's like drinking toilet water. I see it seems like a bad idea. I'm like, oh, stay away from that. But personal feelings aside, it's a business. People make money at it. It's economic. You have all these entrepreneurs in America, all these people who have good ideas and great ways to do it and stuff like that. Those people are money in the bank. As people want to go to Hong Kong to start businesses. Well, these people feel like they're starting businesses against the government, against the grain, completely against like everything the government can do. We actually declared war in America, war on drugs. We're going to stop drugs. It's going to be illegal. So what we did is we made it illegal, and we fought it like with the military and with Coast Guard. And we're still like this crazy, ridiculous war, and it's economics, because the more you draw away from it, the more value it is. Like, the more valuable the product is, like, the rarer it is, and then more people want to do it. You can't defeat that unless you can absolutely cut it out, and that'd be ridiculous. It didn't work with alcohol. It didn't work with drugs. It didn't work with drugs. Like, a war on drugs. That's the most ridiculous shit I've ever heard. A war on drugs? Like, oh, this week, big news, New York Times, drugs surrendered. War on... It's like now we have war on terrorism. It's a war. We declare a war on an idea. Next week, look for the tabloid, war on jealousy. This is ridiculous. But to get back to the drug issue, we've gone and fought an unwinnable war. It's unwinnable. You can't win against that sort of economics. There's no success. Also, you're criminalizing people who are exercising their freedoms. Like, we broke away from England because of, like, crappy taxes, and they weren't representing us and stuff like that. And even them, like even in England, they developed, democracy and freedoms, and so you have power over your own body and your own money and your own stuff, and weird people wouldn't fuck around with you, and if your government got crappy, you could remove them. This is what we were founded on. And then all of a sudden, the whole thing with drugs started as a tax, as a way for them to license heroin, because heroin's getting out of control, the whole like marijuana, cannabis craziness and all this like horrible propaganda nonsense. Oh Lord. Yeah. Sorry about that. Oh, fuck it. That's loud. But with the drug war, it doesn't make any sense at all to keep fighting uphill against ourselves. It's our own people, and you're criminalizing not only just random people. You're not picking out of a random basket. You're criminalizing people who are adventurous, who are curious. You're criminalizing people who, on the business side, on the drug dealers and the people who create it, the entrepreneurs, the creative ones, the ones who are willing to go and take the risk. And that's a big fucking risk. These people are smart, they're effective, and they wouldn't keep doing it if they didn't make money. So this is lucrative. Now you've created an even more lucrative market that's illegal, and now they have to violently protect themselves, and there's no regulation to where they can, work in regular competition, and people don't get clean product, and they're going to get the product. People are always going to buy this product. So this is bullshit. Why does the government fuck around with stuff like that? Look at economic examples. Hong Kong. Don't fuck around with the economy, it does well. America got great because we didn't fuck around with everything. There's a certain period we're becoming more and more socialist, like Medicare, Medicaid, fucking Social Security, all this stuff where we're trying to protect people. But you know what? One of the best things about America is you can be anything, you can be anybody. Because the government says, you can have it if you want it. We're not going to give it to you, but it's out there. We're not going to stop you either. We won't catch you if you fall. There's no safety net, but you won't have to pay for a safety net either. Anything you have, you make, you keep, short of what makes us open to build roads. Now we have like Federal Trade Commission and all this random shit. I think there's a special case when it comes to taking care of the environment, because China poisoned the shit out of their environment, and I think companies would do that. They would. But besides that, regulating stuff like that and safety stuff, I think fuck it. Laissez-faire. Like, why fuck around with it? And this comes to drugs. Now we've used this giant economic machine that made America what it is. That's the spirit of America. We took the spirit of America and put a fucking sheet over it and said, oh, it's demon. War on drugs, like cannabis craze. This is crazy because this is us. This is what made us us. Like, this is why we became phenomenal. This is why we matter in the world. If you really want to understand what went on with America, the reason we're so big is because we matter economically. And the reason we matter economically is because of our, entrepreneurship and our willingness to take risks and to chase, when people say the American dream, if you want it, you can have it. And it's crazy that we take this and we make it an enemy and we smash our heads against it and we fight it. Same thing with prostitution. You can give it away for free, but you can't sell it. God forbid you sell it. It's just ridiculous issues like gay marriage. And now this brings it back to, I think religion is a lot of hard. Like drugs and stuff like this, they're evil because there's this clean idea of what life should be. And don't get me wrong, I would love to be an ascetic. I'm somewhat, in a lot of ways, I turn down things that I could have, and like pleasures, but I do that out of self-interest because I don't want to desensitize myself, and I think that's a clearer way and a better way to live. But we're turning our own asset and what made us great, the spirit of America, we're fighting it as a demon. We've turned the spirit of America into our enemy. What the fuck kind of shit is that? And they're going to keep doing it. People are going to keep buying drugs. People are going to keep selling drugs. It's economics. It's going to happen. You can't stop it. I mean, you could, but it'd be like 1984 type shit. Like, also the year I was born. But I don't know. I think that's ridiculous. And we've got to stop telling people what they can do with their bodies.